Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lachelle Weemy, a peak performance coach and business strategist dedicated to helping you see what's possible within you, the blind spots that are holding you back, and the solutions to ensure success and fulfillment without the hustle. I use my secret sauce of metaphysics, brain science, and scripture to work with God to manifest your ideal life and business. If you're ready to create massive forward momentum in your business and bust through the blocks that drag you down, join me on the Spiral Up journey and create the clarity, confidence, and consistency to become the CEO that lives your life by design. It's time to create the sustainable impact, income, and time freedom you desire faster. Now is the time to spiral up. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I am so glad you're here. I'm your host, Dr. Lachelle Weemy. And today what I wanted to do is give you some behind the scenes ahas from the latest retreat that I attended. So normally I'm the one hosting these retreats, but this one was somebody that was putting it on, and I am one of her expert program coaches. And I was invited to join along. And you guys, I had a huge breakthrough, a really, really big epiphany that has created more joy, more peace, more flow in my life. And I cannot wait to tell you all about it. One of the things that I love to do here inside of the Spiral Up podcast is to give you some behind the scenes, to give you things that I'm learning, that I am discovering, to help you kind of, just get some under the hood look at some of the things that go on here instead of me just teaching. And I feel like we're a family. I feel like this is a relationship, and I'm going to get vulnerable with you like I do a lot. And I don't know. I was honestly hesitating, do I want to record this or not? But I feel like it might help somebody. So here I go. First of all, I'm going to tell you how I got there. So when I was coaching with my dear friend, Debbie Heiser, she was one of my coaches that I had been working with for a long time. She was a huge inspiration to me. She was the person who really catapulted me from, working my full-time career to recognizing that there are options and that it's not as black and white as I thought it was. And going to her retreat and working with her really gave me a lot of the insight and the confidence that I needed. And I'm able to take that experience and, pass it on, pay it forward to my clients as well. And Debbie also was somebody who was pivotal on my money mindset journey. She loves teaching the laws of, the universe as I do. And she's just somebody that's really, really near and dear to me. And she was starting this new, beautiful program, a mastermind that was with really high level people. And she asked me to be a part of it first. And, I was just for some reason, just not, I was already working with Kimberly Olson at the time in another high level program. And I just decided that it wasn't their best time. For me to invest in that, but definitely worth the money, right? So cool about manifesting, right? Because not only did I get invited to join, but I got invited to join as faculty. And so instead of me participating as a student, she later asked me to become a coach for this program. So I am now coaching these really high-end, high-achieving rock star women in this program. And as part of that, I not only get to participate in these beautiful retreats. We went to Mexico last August. We just got back from Costa Rica. But I also get compensated for my coaching time. So it's like, how the hell did I go from, not paying $25,000, but getting a $25,000 program and making money at the same time? That's manifesting, right? That's freaking shows you what's possible. And I just think that it's a cool story. So I wanted to share that with you guys. So here I am in Costa Rica. I've been working with these gals for, several months, coaching them. So we've built some really great relationships. And I think that what's interesting about this story and interesting about what I'm going to share with you is that I would usually show up at these things with my faculty hat on, right? I wasn't the one to be coached. I was the one coaching. I was the one serving. And for some reason, this particular situation presented itself, and instead of pulling back, I leaned in. And it's kind of interesting too, because she had us pull from a stack of cards, like affirmation cards. And I do the same thing at my retreats. So it's always cool. Like we get the cards we're supposed to have. And the one that I pulled that morning was expression, and that I'm not supposed to hide my light. I'm supposed to share my thoughts. I'm supposed to be, show up, be vulnerable. And I'm like, huh. So here I am at this group session. Normally I'm, either coaching or, I'm just there to support. And I found myself getting brave enough to be honest with something that I was struggling with. And we were talking about money mindset, and we were talking about giving. This is where I'm going to get really vulnerable, guys. So no judgment, because it was really hard for me to share with them. And now here I am, like freaking recording a podcast about it. But I was saying how I was in between organizations of, donating. I donate to our church, and I donate to sporadic things here and there. But I used to be really heavily involved with certain organizations, and I kind of feel like they're not in the right alignment right now. And I want to find a new passion. And she was able to draw out of me that the reason that I was struggling with finding a new organization to support, because the law of receiving says that the receiving is activated by giving. So that's kind of how we got into this. And it turns out that I had this subconscious belief deep down that I don't want to enable people. And I want to make sure that the resources that I'm giving are going for a good cause. I don't think that that's anything, super different than some people, right? But what was so interesting is that it went further, it went deeper. So it's so crazy that I'm actually sharing this, but it came out that like there are people that I care about a lot, and I'm going to keep this somewhat vague because I don't want to be that vulnerable yet. But there are people in my life that I feel have so much potential and so much to offer the world. And I see them just existing, and I see them getting by, and I see them, and I'm going to use this loosely, but I see them, what was perceived by me is to be taken advantage of people so that they didn't have to do the work themselves, and that they could just like kind of skate through life. And I knew that there was so much more that they were capable of. And that's a blessing and a curse with me, right? Like I can go into a house, like a crappy house, and I can see what it can be. I can see, a bunch of clothing items, and I can see the outfit that they could become. I can see that in people. I can see that in spaces. I see what it can be. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's not, because I need to sometimes just appreciate things for where they are and what they are. But anyway, so I was really like, she hit this nerve about me being frustrated with these people in my life that, in my words, like were wasting their life. And she was like, why is that important to you? And it was Debbie, and it was also another. What was cool is that it was one of the other participants, one of the coachees that was also participating in this conversation. And she was asking me questions. So I was like, holy crap. Like now I'm the one I'm the coach is being coached. Right. And she's like, why is that important to you? I'm like, I just don't want to waste my life. I don't want any of us to waste. And I feel like I've always said this, like I'm the person who's standing next to the guy in the story of the parable of the servants. Like he's about ready to bury his coins, and I'm like, give me that shovel. Like, no, you can't do that. Like there's so much in store for you. And I know that in my life, like my life went from black and white to color when I started to really open up to all that is possible. And I just went on this massive personal development journey, and I couldn't get enough of it. And I feel like I came alive. It's like, that's what I want for people. Right. And so it's so much so that it's like this burning desire, right? That I want to bring out potential in people. I want them to live their fullest life. I don't want them to just exist. I don't want them to waste their time here on earth. And basically they kept like diving deeper and deeper and deeper into why does that matter? Like asking me questions like, well, what if I was just existing? Like, what if, my health was stripped from me? And I'm like, I would still try to make a difference. Like, it's so hard for me to even like fathom that. But what was so fascinating that this came out that I didn't even know was buried in there. And I don't want to ever talk badly about people that I love, but it's part of my story. So when I was a kid, when I was 12, my grandpa um, got a virus that attacked his heart and he needed a heart transplant. And my whole life was put on hold in that space. Like my mom and all my aunts and uncles drove 3 hours one way to Minneapolis to spend time with him for a year and a half. This went on both when he was waiting for a heart, and then after he got his heart, he got a virus that really made him bedridden for longer, and he had a hard time regaining that muscle mass, and he never ended up walking again. And it was tragic in that way. And I want to be sympathetic of his situation for sure, right? But one of the things that consciously and subconsciously that I'm realizing that I was doing is watching the contrast between him and my grandma on the other side of my family, who had lost both of her parents 6 months apart when she was 10. Married my grandpa, had 7 kids. 2 of them passed away. One of them was born with a hole in his heart and died when he was 4, unexpectedly in surgery. The other one was hit by a car. Like, she had every reason to be bitter and angry, and she was so just kind and funny and all the things. And then my grandpa, who, again, like I'm not in his shoes, or wasn't in his shoes, but he had the heart of a 28-year-old and spent the remaining 12 years of his life mad, angry, chip on his shoulder. And I just remember like possibly thinking, and this is what they brought out in me, is that I was judging him for wasting his life, that he was given the second chance and he didn't do anything with it, and he didn't appreciate life. And really helping me recognize that my grandma made a huge difference on my life. She created legacy in me, not because she was fancy and wrote books and was on stage, but because she was who she was. And she influenced the way that we are and how we think and how we treat each other. And that legacy was built just because of who she was. And that you don't have to be doing really big things to make a really big generational difference. And they also help me understand that whether it be the people that I'm thinking about that I feel are wasting their potential, or even my grandpa feeling like he wasted those years, that those are their journey, that it's not my job to, grab that shovel. It's my job to show them what's possible and model it for them and just be. And I realized how much I was taking on the weight of the world, that I was taking on the success of my kids, my husband being really happy, my clients being successful, the people around me, like my nieces and nephews, like people that I care about. And it was like this deep love that I want them to experience this life that is literally like black and white to color. Like that's what I've experienced. But I had to acknowledge the fact that at the end of the day, it's their choice, not mine. And at the end of the day, they have the same God within them that I have within me, that they have the same connection to source energy and intelligence and power within them that I did with me, and that I get to just love on them and be who I am supposed to be. And it's like this desire for them to be happy, whatever that is. and it took away the angst. And I don't know how to describe this, because like my desire to help people experience the best, fullest expression of their life literally felt like this like desire, but like this angst, this push energy with it. Like, you guys, like, don't you realize, like wanting to hit him over the head with it. Like, don't you realize that there's so much more to life than this? Like, fine is my least favorite 4-letter F word, right? And once I just decided, right, that like I get to just be responsible for me and what I do with my talents, and I get to send positive energy and vibrations and prayer to the people that I love, and trust that they're on the exact journey that they're supposed to be on. Trust that they have all of the guidance and help from God that I do, and that I don't have to be the one to make it happen. I could be a part of it. I could be an influence, just like my grandma was. I can show them the way, but I can't force it. I can't force it on somebody. I can't force them to see the light. Even though I know that it's what's best, or think that it's what's best, or what's I want for them because I love them so much, I can't force it. I just get to allow it to happen whatever way it's supposed to happen. And I get to just be me, and I get the freedom to be me, and I get the freedom to just be happy. And I no longer have the pressure of being responsible for everybody else's successes, everybody else's happiness, everybody else's quote unquote getting it. And it was so freaking weird to me how we went from like, I don't know where to donate, to discovering this resentment that I had towards my grandpa and the people in my life that I feel like are wasting their lives, to the freedom and the lightness and the joy that I have, that I feel like I'm no longer responsible or needing to carry that or force it before they're ready, or if they're ready. I just get to love them. And my legacy and my impact is going to be by just worrying about and being responsible for me. And it's so funny because like I teach this stuff, right? Like I am 100% responsible for me, and I'm responsible to you. And I teach my clients that all the time, because we all, have codependency issues sometimes here and there, and not realizing that I was out of love and desire trying to force instead of allow. And it was weighing me down, and it was holding me back. And it was holding them back, because none of us want to do stuff we're forced to do, even if it's energetically. Even if it's energetically, because the way that I talk to people and stuff is going to be impacted by the energy behind it. And so it's so cool, because I got home and like I just found myself lighter and freer, and just like, oh my gosh, I get to just be me, and I get to just love on people wherever they're at. And that energetic freedom influence positively the people that I'm around without me forcing it. So anyway, that's what happened. Definitely something that I'm carrying with me and loving and processing and appreciating. And I'm so grateful for Debbie and allowing me to be a part of her company and the clients that I get to serve through that. Costa Rica is absolutely beautiful. We went to a totally different part than what I've been to on my own retreats, and would highly recommend you guys get out there, travel, see the world, but let your freedom, let your love, let your what feels good to you guide you. All right. See you guys later. So much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Each honest review helps me spiral up so that I can serve you even better. Whether you're feeling a lack of impact, income, or time freedom, or perhaps you're just ready for massive momentum in your business, let's chat. Apply for a breakthrough call so that you can gain clarity, identify what's holding you back, and make a plan to spiral up. Head on over to iam-lifebydesign.com/breakthrough or access the link in the show notes. For immediate support, plug into our community, the Better Club. We focus on inspiration, tactical guidance, and support. This is a community that wants to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business. And we're going to help you do the same. Let's spiral up, friends.